to tell me where if it doesn't. Okay, we don't have much time today, so we will get straight to the point, and we'll start working on our refactoring. Let's run an REPL server. And let's talk about what we are doing here. There is a very small commit that I did yesterday, which adds one argument to feature mail settings, and it also exposes the same value via RDE values. It doesn't seem like a much of novelty in this thing and not much functionality, but actually it allows us to do a very important thing. Now we can keep all the settings related to both mail accounts and email providers in the same place in mail settings feature. Actually, I would like to rename it to email in some future, but for now it will be mail. Okay, we introduced such a change, and now all other features which somehow related to email and generate some configurations. For example, MSMTP, which sends email, MSMTP, feature MSMTP, feature async, which synchronize email from the server via IMAP. All of them use some provider related settings, and those provider related settings right now is set via arguments to those features, but we don't want to do it anymore. We don't want to hardcode those provider settings in features, because, for example, I can send emails not only via MSMTP but also with sendmail, dovecot, or whatever application provides such capability. And if you create a different feature, we will need to repeat like the same stuff in every place, which can make it very complex, and it doesn't make sense, because provider settings belongs to feature mail settings, not to feature MSMTP. MSMTP will only use those settings when it's necessary. But before doing it, let's first start with async. Feature async. I already started to implement the migration of feature async to RDE, to usage of RDE value. And here you can see that first of all I removed async serializers. I set it to false by default, and I introduced a deprecation warning. If somebody uses this feature and explicitly sets async serializers, I will warn him that he needs to use get async serializers instead. And get async serializers, in contrast to just async serializers, accepts a one argument, which is mail providers settings, and do the similar stuff. It processes those mail provider settings somehow, as it done right here, and returns a list, association list, where you have a provider as a key, and I sync serializer as a value, and it can be later applied for particular mail accounts. Okay, so we don't need this sync anymore. We can remove it because now we have a function instead of it. And now let's try it out and let's see how it works. Don't forget to type something in the chat and ask questions so I can distract myself from time to time from working on the scheme code and answer some fun questions. Or maybe not that fun, but still. Okay, how we will be testing those features? Of course, the obvious choice is to just reconfigure my whole home environment and see how the changes, how the configuration changed. Oh, something broke. Very interesting. Let's get back the sync. By the way, we're not connected to any REPL yet. Let's fix it. And I think we will need to remove it. Let's add to do here. Remove from export. It's very funny that, as far as I know, the % sign means like kind of private variable for like internal use, but in guix code base it used as like a global constant that everybody can and should use. And I also did the same at the beginning in RDE, but later I decided to get rid of them. So we will be removing them one by one when the time comes. Okay, reconfiguration takes a lot of time, especially when streaming, when the CPU is occupied with processing of video and audio stream. How much time it takes? Can I see when it starts? It takes 1.5 minutes, which is a quite long turnaround. But let's try it again. And at the same time, let's take a look at our configuration. It looks okay. It looks like my previous configuration, and it should be this way. Of course, I had to write tests to check that, you know, all that refactoring doesn't break things. But the Surface 64 is far from perfect. The new library is not ready, new unit testing library. So I'm like kinda in the middle between two libraries, not yet implemented and not very well implemented. So I just don't do any unit testing at all, almost. We have some unit tests already in Surface 64. but I don't write more tests in it because I plan to migrate to a new library which is not yet finished. Okay, let's make our turnaround like feedback loop much shorter. Now we have 39, yeah, 1.5 minute basically of rebuilding. What I want to actually do, I want to create just RDE config with a few features list feature mail settings and feature async, right? Okay, and it should have mail accounts. Let's set it. Mail accounts. It should be list. Let's take a look at what we have here. Mail account ID, blah blah blah, туда-сюда. Papam. ID. It will be primary user. Oh, actually, it's quite interesting. I do remember that we split the mail account now can have not only FQDA but also user, which can be different from FQDA, which is interesting. But anyway, let's set FQDA to test собака example. Whoa. When I stream it lags. Type. The bad name for the field. What does it mean? Type of the mail account. Generation. Generic. It should be provider, right? Oh, I already have such task here. Provider is more appropriate name for this field. Okay, Migado. Like this. Let's see. Okay, it's evaluated. So what can I do now? I can extract home services and define tmp config. Actually, I will do it like this: tmp config and config home directory. I think we need to set feature user info, and I don't remember where it defined feature. Actually, I say word actually too much. In the future, I would like to have such API where I don't care in which model the feature is defined, because it's not very convenient like to search code base for the feature definition, and actually I don't care where this feature is defined. It will be at RDE features base feature user info and it should accept a few arguments. Let's see. Username Boppa should be enough. Yes, no, don't know. Full name. Bob Anderson. Happy. Okay. Nice. We got list of services. Now what we need to do is it. I had very cool example in my demo in sample Guile project. Let's just take it. What I do here? Here I just built a home configuration, but later I call function getConfigs. Function getConfigs, which takes a configuration, obtains I'm curious what's the difference between those two functions. RDE home services, fold home services, RDE config features, this RDE config. Get home environment. Okay, let's use this one. It should be okay. And now let's do getConfigs home environment services. Собака guix home окно services home. Don't remember and don't really care, to be fair. Okay, go to model. GNU. Okay, it's home services. Okay. Home. GNU home services, right? Okay, not right, because it's just GNU home. Good. We have profile, mail cap, and our config async mbsync rc. That's what we are looking for. Oh, hello guys. Hello everyone. It's really cool that you can hear me. And you know, it seems I finally fixed this disgusting issue with desynchronization of video and audio stream. Hello Demis, hello PHX Cisco. Hello, I am Ayemogi. The nicknames are so hard to pronounce. It's actually names sometimes also hard to pronounce. Pum pum. You know, I feel myself much better today. Yesterday I was like really frustrated by all the issues with the sound and streaming and all that stuff. So I get like completely demolished and tired in half an hour. But today everything goes smoothly and I'm very happy with it. I didn't warm up my voice to make it sound better before the stream. I didn't done any exercises, but I think it's good enough out of the box. So next step, we take our configs, we extract the configuration here. Oh, we can do just a socref, right? It's funny because in the example I did on the stream, I did quite involved like extraction of the item from a list, but we have a socref function, and I will just copy it here, and our computed file. Bam. Now I need to take the first element and I need to call a function RDE API store build, guess it called like this, and let's see the result. Now you can see it takes not 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, but just a few seconds. And the rebuild of this thing will take just a fraction of a second, which is like a huge time saving. Even if I do it only like 10 times, I will save 15 minutes of my time just only on this functionality, on testing this functionality, but we also will be testing other stuff. Okay, what if I take async and I think I removed, oh, I didn't remove it. I thought I removed it too early, but let's put it back in feature async in the, how it called? Async serializers, right? Can I have suggestions, please? Async serializers, right? And now do this. Wrong. Wrong type argument in position 1. Async serializers, right? Feature async. Async serializers when blah 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 warn about deprecation. Variable, maybe like this, maybe it will fix the problem. I think it's related to this thing. Let's, instead of using this API that I don't know how to use properly, it seems so, let's just hello and evaluate and go back and re-evaluate the feature, and it works. Good. Now let's try to understand what's wrong with this one. I already had it somewhere. I had it probably in previous commits. Probably here. Warn about deprecation. Generate async serializer. It should be a procedure. Oh, okay. It should be a procedure because here I call procedure properties, and of course it doesn't work. What it accepts properties? If I just pass an empty list here, will it work? Let's see. It seems to work. Hello. Hello. But it also should warn. What if I just call it unbound variable? Okay, I will copy the whole expression and will just evaluate it, but let's specify default async serializer, and here get async serializers. Just returns true. Nice. Okay, I understand. We won't do anything because we don't have allocation properties of the variable. I've been able to fix audio issues, and the cause was very, very fun. Very fun. Like, I had so much fun during recording the talk for Guix Social, like few hundred times, and having all those troubles on the streams. The issue was in the frame rate of the web camera, which was different from the stream frame rate, and with the time it's probably accumulates some buffering or some other stuff, and it messed up the synchronization completely, and it was like really hard to find out, and only yesterday when I disabled the web camera on my stream and it became okay, I realized that it's probably very related to the web camera, and I thought it's because of too high resolution, which gets shrinked, and the processing takes too much time and all that stuff, and it can't keep up with all the things. But it turned out that it was about frame rate, and with two different frame rates it was like probably too hard for the all the magic of FFmpeg happening in the right way. So it didn't happen the right way, and it was screwing up everything. But after I set the frame rate the same as my stream frame rate, it started to work well. Okay, I hope it. I didn't break anything right now. Frame until timeout. And you can see the stream is very stable now, like very. It doesn't seem that something wrong happening. Okay, so what we will do the following. We'll just I would like to use the deprecation API because it's already written, it's already, you know, put some time and effort into it, but I don't see how it's applicable. Define deprecated alias. Actually, don't need define. Deprecated replacement syntax source of S. Oh, those key macros, I still have a very hard time understanding them. What I do? I just copy this code and place it where I need those warning to be displayed. Okay, is deprecated. Oops. And we will remove location. And where the warning comes from? Define diagnostic. And let's find deprecation. And let's add diagnostic. Let's evaluate it. Let's jump back. Warning variable replacement. Our variable. Okay, let's copy it here. Our variable will be for testing purpose. And another one, get async serializer. Compound exception component. Syntax form, subform, to do, warning, source expression failed to match any pattern. Okay, I know why. because use models guix warning. Warning. Probably we need to do. Yep. Looks good. It outputs to the wrong place. It outputs to the wrong place, and I'm not sure why. Because probably guix somewhere catches the output port and saves it to some variable, and the whole guix source code became stateful and depending on this value, which is like not the nicest thing to do, but it seems it's done this way. Not a big deal, but still not very cool, because it's now really easy to miss this warning. But luckily most of the people won't use like ID for doing the stuff I do, and they won't notice this problem. I think serializers, get async serializers like this. Let's eval the feature. We eval the feature, and where it happens here, when I define this feature, now we have a warning, but for some reason this warning goes to a very wrong way. Now let's copy this thing and put it into my config and go to feature. Oh, it's in presets. Feature async. Where is feature async defined? In presets. Okay. No. And now let's configure my home configuration. Unfortunately, I have to start working now. See you soon and have fun. Thank you, Demis. See you. Have a great working day. Now we have a warning here. I would throw an exception. But I won't bother too much with it. Is deprecated and ignored. Is Detected and ignored. Let's see again how it looks. Good. Feature, I think, looks okay. Looks okay. Now let's commit those changes. Oh, we need to add this model to the top. I18N. International. We can remove this variable, and we can it also remove from here. And let's reconfigure my whole environment, whole home environment, of course. I think of course. I guess we need to make a next release in April, next RDE release in April, and in the April we will remove all the deprecated things. It seems to build somehow, so let's commit the changes. Features, I think what we did, switched from use mail provider settings RDE value. Now it asks for my password, and I failed to type it correctly. And I did it again, which is a bit scary. Look at my face for a bit while I type in password. To make sure you don't see it, I will move it out of the screen. Okay, I typed it right this time. Okay, now let's go. Let's go to MSMTP feature, MSMTP, and do the same. We have MSMTP provider settings, which doesn't make much sense. Let's find provider settings where it used. MSMTP serializer, MSMTP provider settings, account. MSMTP serializer already accepts provider settings and mail account, and do all necessary magic. And now let's see. Oh, okay. Now let's see where default MSMTP provider settings defined. It defined here and looks like this. And now, instead of it, I will do something else. But before actually doing it, what I want to add feature MSMTP to the configuration to see okay, it requires feature XDG from RDE features XDG boom boom, and now I need the sync. And let's see the final result. Looks good. What about my real MSMTP config, how it looks? Oh, I understand why it's so slow. MSMTP config, it's a bit more involved. It have account, it have user. Okay, let's copy it. MSMTP config, just in case we will be comparing it in the future. oh, tp config msmtp tmp config tmp saved. Okay, we've built it. Now we take first element and call with open call with input file procedure and procedure. I always forget which of those function is procedure call with one argument. Okay, port read all. No, this is not what I was looking at. Read all. What is happening? A read line. Okay, read line. read delimited. Right line. Go to model RDE. Where is the read all function? Line delimited. It gets string goal, which is also not always work as it expected, but I don't remember what's wrong with it. But let's see. Of course, because it's defined. Where is defined? In IS9 textual ports. Textual ports. Okay, the string looks like this. And now let's save it, and we will be able to run a test on the string. Define previous config. Now when we will rebuild this thing, we will be able to compare string equal previous config and now it's true. And the next time we evaluate it, it also should be true. And if it's not true, it should show the difference. Shows the difference between the strings. And now let's take this thing out, remove it, paste it here, default MSMTP provider, define, and instead of this thing we will take the code and get value mail providers settings config, boom. Now let's valid and let's get back to our comment. Okay, it used somewhere else MSMTP provider settings. And what's wrong? What is wrong here? Mail providers settings, MSMTP provider settings, and this is exactly what is written here. Okay. Do anyone else uses MSMTP provider settings? This one is tricky, actually, to keep a backward compatibility here. We would need to spend some time, but we will just remove it because nowhere in RDE code it used, and if somebody relies on it, it's very rare occasion, very low probability that somebody relies on it, on this variable, on this RDE value. But if somebody does, unfortunately we will break his config. Okay, the configuration provided by feature MSMTP is the same. Now let's add a warning. Warning will be the same as here. Or maybe we don't even need to provide a warning. You know why? Because provider settings. Oh yeah, no, we need. Because somebody definitely set MSMTP provider settings. Let's take a look at our diff. Let's return this thing back. Yes. Oh. Okay. One more time. revert buffer. This one should be false. No, but if it's not, MSMTP provider settings. MSMTP settings. Mail provider feature settings. Okay, it should be good. Now let's reevaluate the whole model. And see that our configuration produces the same MSMTP config. Good. Now let's reconfigure the whole home environment and see how my current config looks. .config msmtp config. It looked like this. Good morning, Geek Social. Nice to see you here. Probably today's stream is the most interactive stream on the channel. Interactive in terms of like IDE and development workflow interactivity, because previously on all my previous streams when I was developing features or like refactoring something, I always did like the whole rebuild of home environment every time. But now you can see that we just spent a few seconds or even fractions of seconds to check our changes. Okay, and backup. They look the same. Yep, we provide the same configuration every time, which is very good. Let's commit our changes. What about this one? Okay, looks legit. Looks good. Default MSMTP settings. Default MSMTP settings here. Okay, I think we removed everything that we needed. Let's commit it. Committed. Comment. Don't need to commit it. This one. Yes. Yes. This one. Yes as well. Now, feature MSMTP. Use mail provider's settings. RDE value. Good. Good. Somewhere in between, I updated channels log file, but overall the series looks good. We actually finished our refactoring, and this refactoring should really simplify the way people will be setting up the mail configurations. Now you just only need to provide settings in one feature, which is feature mail settings, and everything else you just include in the list of features. Async, not much, MSMTP, whatever, and you don't configure them. They will be automatically configured from those settings, which is great. And let's do one example here. One interesting example that will be very useful for people having mail providers not listed in providers file. So you can see we already have like quite a lot of providers, but definitely somebody will find a way to have a provider outside of this list. And for this we will take for example this provider define new provider and let's do it like this, and a new provider folder mapping, new provider folder mapping, new mail. I don't know if such a mail exists. Oh, such domain. Sorry. newmail.com. Actually, just let's use example. Com. Let's call it example provider. Example folder mapping. It will be full-blown configuration of the mail provider settings. Custom provider example example, oops, let's call it example no start tls. Custom providers settings, custom provider settings, and the only thing that we need to define example folder mapping, which can be quite generic. I don't remember the context of this to do. Okay, let's evaluate it. Evaluate this thing. Now this one, generic folder mapping, providers, let's update this one to example, and here let's build two things. Can we do it like this? Sync, embasync, RC. Okay. .config async, embasync. I missed the letter. Okay. Expecting struct. SMTP plus, I think. Let's see. Good. Let's what not a directory. Do you remember what arguments directory union accepts? it accepts things. File union instead of list, tp config file union. Okay, we don't need a dot here. Sync config and let's build it. What the heck? What you don't like? Unbound variable get configs. Okay. Not a big deal. Cool. The folder with two configurations is ready. Let's put it here and define msntp plus async config folder. Okay, and now we do a very simple trick. We just copy for example this one, put it here, this one, put it here, and like this, and evaluate it, and it failed, expecting string. Of course. Because we updated our provider, and of course it's changed. Evaluate this one, evaluate this one, and now comment. Cool. Let's switch them. So it's still a lot of closing parentheses. Example configuration. System. This is an example configuration with a few helpers for interactive exploration of resulting MSMTP async configuration files produced by mail subsystem by RDE's email subsystem. Takes RDE config and returns a list of configuration files produced oops. Move to RDE features. Accessible people is the task for the feature. I think we can move this function to the end of the file. Custom email providers. I think this is the most important result of our stream, that we actually provided a really comprehensive example of setting all the email related stuff, because enabling feature not much is not a big deal. It's just enabling a feature, adding it to the configuration. But setting custom providers is a bit complicated, and it was much more complicated before this update. So let's commit it. Let's drop this one. Features mail add example of custom providers. Example. I don't like how it sounds. Add an example setting custom email providers. It's okay. Sounds good. Now let's pull the changes from the master branch. And let's push it. And we will need to reply one email. Hello Keys, impressive workflow, thank you. I think this is how like Guile development workflow should look like. It should look even a bit more impressive in the future, but it's still not technically possible at the moment. But a bit later, it will be even more impressive. Okay, let's do the last thing. Let's reply the email. Mail. Novice mail. Don't remember. Okay, collab mail, beginner mail config. Hello collab. I refactored mail settings, feature mail settings. Now custom providers should be set via this feature. Moreover, let's say moreover we added an example of do it. You can find it here. Hello Grigori. Mail features are killer features of the RDE for me. Yeah, I think it's like one of the most complex things when you setting up your dot files, and the RDE features for emails simplifies the stuff a lot. I need a link. I need the link to the examples. RDE git link. Let's check that the links to correct place. It doesn't. Why so? Unmerged. Wait a minute. Where is everything? I see the commit. I see the code. It didn't load all the stuff, or what? What happens? Example. Oh, okay, it linked to the commit. Now let's try it again. RDE get link. Now it's the right commit. Good. Also did a stream where I was working on the refactoring and trying out the features. Recently, generate helpful and let's take a link to the stream. In the perfect world, I would like to keep the streams and recordings of the stream on my own infrastructure, so I can link to some FTP or whatever it can be, so people don't need to use YouTube directly and don't need to load tons of shitty JS. But for now, I will consider it reasonable enough and more helpful than damaging. Okay, let's send this email. These, I always confuse those and these words. Good, very productive stream. I'm very happy with it. I'm happy that you joined, and I hope you enjoyed. I see you in a bit. Bye.